Hi, I'm Jeremy from Synchro Arts. This video is for Ableton Live users on Mac OS systems who are new to using Revoice Pro. Before we start this tutorial, we need to explain that because Ableton Live does not store time position information with its audio segments, we are unable to make the workflow with Revoice Pro as fast, automatic and precise as with most other audio editors. However, even with slightly more manual steps, live users tell us that there are still substantial time and effort savings in time and pitch alignment to be gained by using the steps we will show you. This video will be in 4 parts. How to set up Revoice Pro and Ableton Live to work together. How to get the Ableton Live audio you want to process quickly into Revoice Pro. How Revoice Pro can quickly tune, tighten and create double tracks. And lastly, how to get the audio processed in Revoice Pro back into Live. So first, we will need to transfer the 3 lead vocal tracks into Revoice Pro. Some Ableton Live users may be happy using Live's built-in pitch and warp tools, but once dragging your processed audio from Revoice Pro back over into Ableton Live, Live automatically warps the audio to the project BPM. If you don't want this to happen, then you will need to turn off auto warping of audio in Preferences. You navigate up to Live, Preferences. In the warp section, turn this button off. Let's hear the tracks we're going to be working with. As you will hear, the lead vocal has a tuning issue. Also, the doubles in lead vox 2 and 3 have tuning and timing issues.
My heart is an ocean, nothing can save it, nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
Before we do our audio transfers from Live into Revoice Pro, we want to remind you that our workflow must deal with not having time position information for the audio segments we transfer from Live over into Revoice Pro. So all audio we transfer will be given a 0 start time. Here is the workflow we recommend. First, we need to start Revoice Pro and adjust the screen size. Click on the Lead Vox 1 audio part. Then click on the name of the file in the sample editor, which will locate and show it as highlighted in the file directory folder. Grab the file and drag it over into the top track in Revoice Pro. Once this is done, a prompt will appear asking where you would like the audio file positioned on the timeline. In this case, we are going to select Playhead with the position of 0. Click OK. Then do the same with the other tracks you'd like to process. We can now start processing the audio in Revoice Pro, but first, let's listen to the audio that was transferred.
My heart is an ocean, nothing can save it, nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
In this section, I'm going to show you how to correct the time and pitch of the guide vocal, transfer the time and pitch of the guide vocal to other tracks, and create a stereo double track from a mono harmony. First thing I need to do is correct the pitch of the lead vocal, lead vox 1. This track will become our guide track with the right timing and pitch for the others to match to. I'm going to solo the track and right click here and choose Make Warp Region, and I'm going to push this button to make the audio track 1 display full height. T key, I can zoom in, and the R key zooms out. Now I'm going to press play and we can hear the problem.
My heart is an ocean.
I need to correct the tuning of this note, and I'm going to push it up by a semitone to correct the pitch. Now let's play that back.
My heart is an ocean.
Now that's fixed, I'm going to push this button again to view the multi-track display. And let's zoom out a bit. Now we're going to make the audio in both lead vox 2 and 3 match the timing and pitch of the guide in lead vox 1, which we know has the correct timing and pitch. When you use some of the processes in Revoice Pro, you will need to send the processes output to a new track. So I need to create some output tracks in Revoice Pro. First, select the Tracks menu, click Add Tracks, and I'm going to create 2 tracks and name the first one Output 1 and then push Add. This will create an Output 1 and Output 2. Now we can quickly show you how fast it is to create time-saving processes that use these tracks. Create a playback range by clicking and holding down your left mouse button and dragging it to the end of the audio you'd like to process. In this example, we're going to choose from the beginning to the end of the song. So I hit the R key to zoom out, click my left mouse button at the beginning and drag it all the way to the end of the song. Now tidy that up and make sure it's right at the start. You can press the B key on your keyboard to bring up the new process window, or right-click the small grey track under the audio track. Firstly, I'm going to select an APT process, which stands for Audio Performance Transfer, and we'll use the selected audio shown here. And I'm going to choose a preset to set the processing to provide an output with slightly loose time and pitch. And I'll choose my guide, which is lead vox 1, and my dub, which is lead vox 2. And if we are doing more than one process at a time, we have to select the Fix Offset button. Click Create Multiple Processes and choose the number of processes you want. In this case, I'm going to choose 2. My first output from the dub in lead vox 1, I want to go to output 1. I now click New Process to create the process and their outputs. I'm now going to unsolo our lead vox 1 track. And I'm going to mute our newly processed tracks by pressing the mute buttons for output 1 and 2. Change the playback range for this section of audio, and unmute our original unprocessed tracks, except the harm 1 part, which we'll make a double from later. Now let's remind ourselves once again what it sounded like before processing.
My heart is an ocean. Nothing can save it. Nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
Now let's hear the fixed tracks. So I'm going to unmute output 1 and output 2, and I'm going to mute lead vox 2 and lead vox 3.
My heart is an ocean. Nothing can save it. Nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
I'm sure you can hear how much tighter these tracks are in tightening and tuning, and see how easy it was to achieve that. Now I want to create a stereo harmony from the mono harmony that I created in live, so I need to add an output track for the doubler process. I go to Tracks, Add Tracks, and we're going to call this new track Harm 1 Double. I'll also move the playback range back to the beginning of the song. To create a stereo harmony, again, I need to push the B key to bring up the new process window. And this time I'm going to choose Doubler. And I'm going to choose the preset Stereo Vocal Loose Timing. My input track is Harm 1 and my output track is Harm 1 Double. Click New Process and it's created a stereo double of the input. Now let's remind ourselves how the harmony sounded on its own. First, I'm going to change the playback range. Then I'm going to solo my Harm 1 part and press play.
My heart is an ocean, nothing can save it, nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
And now let's bring in the process track by soloing the two together.
My heart is an ocean, nothing can save it, nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
And now, let's bring in the rest of the tracks that have been processed by Revoice Pro. So I also solo my output 1 and my output 2 and press play.
My heart is an ocean, nothing can save it, nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
I'm now going to export the processed audio before dragging and dropping it back into Live to quickly align. So again, just for this example only, I'm going to move the beginning of the playback range back to the beginning of the song. Click File, Export Audio, name the folder and specify the location where I'd like it to be saved, in this case on my desktop. I'm just going to put a star here so that when the files are exported to my desktop with the existing names, I can spot them easily. Select each of my processed output tracks and hit Save. Now, as you can see, they've been saved on my desktop. Another way to do this is to drag and drop each newly processed piece of audio back into Ableton Live. It's easiest to do this by making both programs half the screen size. Before dragging my processed Harm 1 Double over into Ableton Live, I'm first going to create a new track and name it Harm 1 Double. Now, I hold down Shift and Alt and left mouse click. Then when the file icon appears, I release the keys and drag it over into Ableton Live. Now I'm going to delete our original tracks in Live and drag and drop our newly processed tracks over one by one. And just to keep everything looking nice and tidy, I'm going to consolidate these newly processed tracks from the beginning to the end of the song. Now let's hear the fixed audio.
My heart is an ocean, nothing can save it, nothing at all. So twisted and broken, lost in the storm.
You can try processing this audio yourself. Go to the SynchroArts website, Ableton Live entry in the DAW list to download this example session and get further information on using Live with Revoice Pro or Vocaline. Thanks for watching.